Heidi Ho Stampers! Today we're going to take and make a 3D card, and that is with our new holiday ornament stamp set. Okay, so this is the card that we're going to make. You probably have seen these in on the cover of our holiday mini catalog, and this is just a takeoff on these ornaments that we've done, so you can actually adapt it to your card. So this is the card that we're going to do. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my base card, and this one I cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I folded it at 5 1/2, so I have a top opening card right here. The next thing that I'm going to do is to take my Midnight Muse, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to glue that onto my base like that. Okay. The next layer is going to be embossed with our embossing folder. And this embossing folder is called the Delicate Design folder, and it actually comes with 2 of them. We're going to use the one that looks like snowflakes. So what I did was I took my 3 1/4 by 5 inch cardstock. I laid that right there in the middle, and I ran it through the embossing folder. And when I was done, it looked like voila. Okay? The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my base. But before I add it to my base, I need to add a little piece of my cherry cobbler twine, okay? And I keep mine in a little Parmesan cheese shaker, and it doesn't get kind of destroyed and knotted and tangled. And so what I did was I added a little bit of adhesive on the back, and I used my snail adhesive. And now I can add this to my base card. Okay. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue there and hold that down just like that. Okay. The next thing I need to do is to get out my Midnight Muse ink. And one of my favorite stamp sets for this holiday is More Merry Messages. It's new in the large catalog, and I just absolutely love it. I'm going to stamp it off to the side here with a little bit of pressure, and there we go. It just stamps up absolutely exquisite. So now the base of my card is almost done. We need to make the 3D part of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to leave that out, is I stamped 4 of these ornaments onto a piece of cardstock, and then I needed to take my ornament framelit, and I needed to cut them out. Now let me just remind you that when you're using your framelits, you want to make sure that all of your layers are closed, so you are on the tab number 2, and then what you're going to do is lay your ornaments, your stamped image down, lay your ornament on top of it, and then make sure that you keep the one that is dedicated to being clear on top. You don't want to cut into that piece, because if you do, let's say we did it this way, you're not going to be able to see through to see if this piece has moved at all. So with that, you're going to cut out 4 of them. One of them you are going to leave just plain, meaning you're not going to fold it. The other 3, what we are going to do is we're going to take our bone folders and we're going to fold them right in half. And you want to be pretty accurate on this, okay? Because if you don't, they're not going to line up the correct way. So I have my 3 ornaments. I'm going to fold them in half. And make sure you're using your silicone sheet for the next step, because this is amazing. Once you purchase one of these new silicone sheets, you will never go back to stamping on your cardstock again. Now watch this. I'm going to flip it over because I want glue on both sides, so that when I glue these, we are going to glue to glue. Okay, I use snail adhesive instead of Tombow glue, because Tombow glue ends up getting all over me, and then everything is stuck, and then I have to get out my glue eraser. So this just works much better for me. The other piece that I'm going to glue on is this one right here, and that's my flat one, the one that I did not put together. That's my base. Okay, just like we have a base cardstock, we have a base ornament. And I took the one that was a little not centered because you're never going to see that. That's just my base. So now I'm taking glue to glue, and I'm very carefully putting them together, line them up, and then just kind of pinch them. And see, because it's glue to glue, they're not going to come apart. And then the same way with this one, I'm just going to take and put these 2 together and pinch them so they stay glued. Okay, now we have these 2 that have glue on them. We're going to take those and we're going to adhere them to our base to give it some stabilization here. Okay, so there is our ornament, just like this one. Now we need to add that to our card, but before we do, I'm going to get out my twine again. This is my cherry cobbler twine, and I'm just going to take it. I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times, and just tie a bow in the front. Just tie your bow right here like this. Tie, tie, tie. Okay, let's say that's pretty. We can adjust it afterwards. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. Get my fabric scissors out to cut that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and just kind of flatten it, put our adhesive on the back, puff it back up, and add it to our card. And you can add this anywhere that you want. I'm going to do it right about there. It's right in the center. And the next thing you need to do is to get your rhinestones. Take your rhinestones, and I'm going to take my paper snips, and I have a cute little pocket for those, to keep those handy. I'm going to take my paper snips. I'm going to pop these up. You're not getting any glue on them, so don't worry about having glue on your paper snips. Okay? You're just going to take and you're going to adhere it right there. Pop it up a little bit more. One last thing we have to do, we have to take our two-way glue and our Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And I always do this at the very end. This is the very last thing that I do before my customers go out the door, is to add our glitter. Okay? We only need it right here on the edges, so there's no sense in glittering the whole thing, and it just sticks a lot better when you're just doing the edges of it. Take your little container, throw that in there, throw your glue on it, or your glitter on it, and there's our card. I hope you enjoyed this post. This is our special. We have, if you buy the stamp set and this paper, you get the paper piercing pack for free. If you want to add to that, you'll get the framelits that we used today. You'll get the ornaments, or the stamp set that you used today. You'll get the paper that you used, which is also a bundle, so you're saving an extra 15%, plus you're going to get the paper piercing pack. So I hope you take advantage of this. You only have another week, and then the special is off.